So the next story, this is maybe the most valuable button in the world. It's not a button exactly. He was a guy.
And his name was Button Gwinnett.
But what is it?
Button Gwinnett.
Button?
Yep.
Is that his real name?
That's his real name.
That's Bobby Livingston from R&R Auction House in Boston. Who is Button Gwinnett?
Button Gwinnett is one of two signers of the Declaration of Independence that were born in England and moved to the United States, or moved to the colonies.
He is a founding father.
He's a founding father.
You've seen his signature thousands of times without realizing it.
And the thing about that signature gets interesting in a minute.
But just to start at the beginning, Button Gwinnett was born in England in the early 1700s, and then he moved to Georgia in 1765.
And he bought an island, and I believe he began a import-export.
Bought an island?
Yep, St. Catherine's Island.
Truth is, he leased it, but whatever.
So he's like just a wealthy guy?
No, Button Gwinnett was a serial debtor, actually, and he owed everybody money. So he failed in his business, and he became a radicalized revolutionary, and he joined Georgia politics late in the 1760s.
And when it got to be 1776 in Philadelphia, he was in Independence Hall, and he signed the Declaration of Independence.
Really?
To the left and below of John Hancock. But then he goes home to Georgia and gets in a duel with his political rival and is killed in 1777. And then, I believe in 1780, his wife passes away, leaving only his daughter. And then by 1800, his daughter passes away and his lineage has disappeared. So
the Gwinnetts pass into history.
Yes. Yes. And then in 1780, the British burned Savannah to the ground. So any government documents that would have existed in the state archives are destroyed.
But his signature is on that very important piece of paper.
It
True.
is.
True.
Which becomes important because
Around the 1820s, the last of the signers of the Declaration of Independence were dying. So there was a nostalgia for the Founding Fathers, and that's when people began collecting the signatures that were placed on that document.
So people collected Jefferson and an Adams and a Hancock, and they started thinking,
Okay, I want a whole set of the 56 men that signed that document.
People want the set.
they want the set.
For an American, I don't think there was any more important signature than the signatures that were placed on that document.
Get them all.
And a problem arose. Button Gwinnett signatures were almost impossible to find.
And even now, 100 and some odd years later,
One guy, I went to see his collection, and he had a beautiful house in Florida overlooking the bay. I won't tell you which bay, but he showed me some great stuff. And I said, what else you got? And he goes, I swear, he pushes a button on, and a wall begins to rise. And on the wall, he's got incredible, Wilbur Wright, George Washington, but I could see in the middle, my eye goes right to it. The unmistakable signature of Button Gwinnett is like the centerpiece of this secret wall that raises up. And I go, my goodness, you've got a Button Gwinnett. It was pretty amazing. I mean,
so this is the autographic equivalent of some really famous diamond, or something like that.
That's right. It's the Holy Grail.
Wait, how many signatures still exist?
There are 51
known examples
in the world.
And most of the things that exist are IOUs.
If you have one of these things, what are they worth?
Well, I'll tell you this. It is more valuable than Lincoln.
Much more. 100 times more than Abe Lincoln.
What?
Really? What about George Washington?
Yep.
Ben Franklin?
Yes.
Button Gwinnett outsells Ben Franklin was like a world famous person.
But Ben Franklin was a man of letters. He wrote tons of letters. He was president of Pennsylvania. He was the ambassador to France. He wrote and wrote and wrote and signed and signed and signed. So there's
Bobby Livingston told us with the possible exception of William Shakespeare, this guy, Button Gwinnett, ran up a bunch of debt, did basically nothing else with his life. He is the most valuable signature in the world.
Today, what makes it extremely hard to complete a set of signers of the Declaration of Independence is because of the 51, 41 are in libraries or institutions and will never be able to get it. So there's only 10 examples in public hands.
Hello, sir.
Hello, sir.
How you doing?
Good.
Okay, you checked your bags and everything? So it turns out that there are 4 Button Gwinnetts at the New York Public Library.
Yeah, which is right in our neighborhood. Closed?
I believe the reading room is still closed, but we're going to a kind of super secret place where you need to ring a bell to get in.
Really?
So I emailed them up. I emailed a guy named Thomas Lannon.
And I work in the Manuscripts and Archives Division at the New York Public Library.
He took us into a special room on the top floor.
Ooh, wow. This is awesome.
All by ourselves.
Yeah. I guess we'll put them on the wood.
We're standing at a wooden, like a kind of beautiful old wooden table, and we have
On the table.
4 button Gwinnettes. 4.
Wait, hold on, just so I can appreciate. Tell me what one of these is worth.
Well, you don't know until they're sold because they're different quality, but the last one that we know of that was sold here in New York was sold for
$722,500.
I'm not in the business of estimating value of things, but I can say that Button Gwinnett autographs at the New York Public Library are classified as splendid.
Highest ranking, splendid.
They're not simply cut autographs. They're documents signed.
Look at this. Look at this.
This is the most extravagant one.
Oh, wow, but it has like seals on it, like
Right,
red
but it has
wax
the Button
seals.
Gwinnett.
There might have been like $4 million sitting on that table. We got $4 million.
So for me, the impulse I'm having right here is not just putting these in my pocket and running away. Like the impulse I'm having, and I'm being totally frank here, is the same impulse I have, like, you know, when you want to pull the fire alarm, like I just want to just tear these all up right now. Really? Kind of.
I just wanted to take all of these papers that were on this table and just tear them all to shreds.
I can't speak to your desire to destroy history.
And then the guy really looked alarmed.
But you don't really want to tear these up. You have to admit.
It's just so like it's so arbitrarily valuable. Like I could just rip it up. Like how could it be that valuable if I could just rip it up?